Yeah, this is weird because I'm actually using my voice on this channel for basically the first time. This video was originally just planned to be a compilation of a bunch of my unfinished levels, but in the middle of editing, Doggie came out with a really similar video idea, but much better. So I'm kind of taking inspiration from that now. So apologies if I sound weird, this is kind of new for me. I'm also totally reading from a script right now. But anyway, with 2.2 close on the horizon, I'm making this video mainly just to archive some of the levels I've made over the course of the update, as well as the backstories about them, since I know I'm probably never going to work on them once 2.2 releases. A lot of them are really short and uninteresting, and you probably won't care about any of these levels, but I just want to show them here for my own sake. And since I likely won't be continuing any of these, I'll just be showing them from oldest to newest. So let's just begin now. And yes, most of the footage in this video is botted. Starting out, I think this was sometime around early 2020. I have several levels from before then, but because I'm lazy, I'll only be showing levels from 2020 onward. Anyway, as the name suggests, this just shows how fast you're spamming by counting your clicks. Pretty basic.
Hi.
This is my first ever attempt at a modern style, inspired by a series of tutorials made by Lake. It was very unoriginal and I never made it far, but ultimately this would later be used as a solid base point for my featured level Rosalie. I had a really weird idea for this level. Basically, it was going to start out as Stereo Madness, but slowly get more and more chaotic as the level progressed, to the point where it just looked like a huge mess. I never got very far with it, though. This might be one of, if not the best layout I'll be showcasing today. It uses the song La La La, including the dialogue in the intro, and I think it's an overall funny but decent layout, although it's barely even halfway finished.
Hi, welcome to Y2K's Big Fun Fun Show. I'm your host, Y2K. I'd like to introduce you to today's very fun, very special guest, Baby No Money.
Did I really just forget that melody?
When I popped off, then your girl gave me just a little bit of la chop. Baby so cold, he from the north, he from the Canada. Bankroll so low, I got nothing else that I can withdraw. Ran up the dough, I shot my wrist, it go like sha sha sha, sha sha sha. I got your bitch singing la 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 la, la la la. I shot my wrist, it go like sha sha sha, sha sha sha. I got your bitch singing la.
This is a layout probably about 7 stars in difficulty, and it was supposed to be another attempt at a rate-worthy level, but I just didn't even get past the first few seconds.
Cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much, feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness, gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like this. We don't want to hate and despise. Life be free and beautiful. We have lost the way. We think too much, feel too little.
So this was probably actually made much earlier in 2020, but I don't think I ended up verifying this until maybe even 2022. As you'd probably expect, it's a spam challenge with Rap God as the song.
Lyrics coming at you with supersonic speed. Summon, I'm a doom, I'm a you assuming I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rubber so that anything you say is shaking off of me and it'll glue to you and devastating. More than ever demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling like it's levitating, never fading. And I know the haters are forever waiting for the day that they can say I fell off to be celebrating. Cause I know the way to get it motivated. I make elevating music. You make elevator music. Oh, he's too mainstream. Well, that's what they do when they get jealous, they confuse it. It's not hip hop, it's pop. Cause I found a hella way to fuse it.
Now, I think this is the first level from 2021, although I'm not completely sure. And this was meant to be a Belloc remake, I guess, except there's nothing that really resembles Belloc, it just uses the same song. Gameplay is somewhat satisfying in some parts, but overall kind of bland. This is also a remake, this time of Zafari by Rustum, and has the same balancing as the original level, where the first ship and wave are way harder than the rest of the level, except in this it's like 100 times harder. For some reason, I decided to make an extension to this wave spam challenge I made called Rainbow Skittles, and the idea was just to make really high CPS gameplay while still being fun. It's not finished, but I think it turned out okay. This is one of my favorite levels on the list, and I'd love to continue it, but I'm just not sure how I would. I wanted to make a really slow-paced, calm extreme demon with really unique gimmicks, but I never really figured out what I wanted those gimmicks to be, so I just kind of stopped working on it. So this is technically one of the oldest levels on this list, and one of my first levels ever made, actually. It's basically an exact replica of a level I made on a YouTube video on this channel, now deleted of course, and as you'd expect, it's pretty bad. Now, this is some random layout idea I had for a 4-star where you start out in a really small corridor area and then you go out into this like wide open area where everything's big. The idea was basically like you're a mouse running on the floor of a house or something, but I knew I could never make it look like I wanted to. This is some decoration I did only a few months before I made my featured level Rosalie. It was probably my best deco at the time, but it's still very basic and unfinished. I really don't know what to say about this, other than the name is of course inspired by a certain song. I know this was made at the beginning of 2022 since it was sort of inspired by this game called Franbo that I had just finished playing, I guess, I don't know. So this is actually a very early version of Rosalie, and it's really interesting to see to me because looking back, I realized the first part looked really ugly. But when I first made it, I thought it was really good, and if I hadn't thought that, I probably wouldn't have been motivated to finish the whole thing. So I'm kind of glad it turned out that way, even if it kind of looked bad. So this is a sequel I made to my Wave challenge called Running Man Challenge, and I was going to make a challenge with each game mode using songs from random old memes, and I did actually verify this legit, but I never cared to continue the series for some reason, except for one level you'll see later on.
The giant enemy spider.
So now we're getting into the area where I was doing a lot of challenges and a lot of build swaps with my friend Raikion, and this was the first one I made for him. I think he just asked me to make a challenge for him because he was bored and I made this. Similar story to the last one, except I built this one on my birthday, so yeah.
Wait, shut the
This is the first of quite a few build swaps, and this first level is the one Raikion started. I think I made the background, but yeah, the whole thing didn't turn out that great. This is kind of a more unique build swap, where me and Raikion took each other's featured levels, Rosalie and Nothing More, and tried to make them as absolutely scuffed as possible, and I think I definitely succeeded in doing that. So, kind of funny story. This was for a challenge swap I did with Raikion, and as you'll see, I totally cheated by verifying it with a secret way. But I actually ended up beating the regular way like 5 minutes later anyway, though, so... This is the second half of the build swap from earlier. I don't know why they aren't next to each other in chronological order. I kind of like the gameplay I made with this one, but the deco is just a bit weird. Now, moving on to the second build swap, there's nothing really to say about this one. I also don't have the other level we made, so that's just lost to time, I guess. So this was made when GD Shorts started becoming a big thing, and me and Raikion thought it'd be funny to start a satire shorts channel. This is going to be our first video, but we never ended up posting, which I'm kind of glad we didn't, I guess. This is a remake of Thanatophobia with another really good Steam Pianist song. I really didn't get far with this one, so it's not really anything that great. Earlier, I mentioned my series of challenges with dead meme songs, and this is the final level in that series. It's still unreleased since I never had the patience to verify it, but I think it's the best of the three, which isn't saying much to be fair.
I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You
Now for the third build swap, which is actually a 3-way build swap this time with Raikyon and Ninja Berry. This is the level I started for the build swap. A really funny thing I remember about the original layout is that I made the first 2 clicks actual frame perfects, and somehow I verified on my first attempt, but the version you're about to see is heavily nerfed, of course. This, I believe, is the one Ninja Berry started, although it's not the finished product, since it was worked on more after I made my part. This is the one that Raikyon started, and it's kind of the most boring of the 3. It looks a lot like an early 2.1 level, which was kind of the joke, though. This is kind of like a sequel to Running Man Challenge, since it has that same fast-paced gravity switching wave gameplay, but is much harder, so I can never actually verify it legit. This is now the 4th build swap, which is also a 3-way with the same people again, except we never actually swapped since one of them had to quit after the first building session, so it's just a layout. And I also don't have the other 2's levels. Ninja Berry asked me to make a spam challenge for him, which resulted in this, and it ended up being so hard that neither of us could actually beat it. Now, this was supposed to be the start of a huge solo project I started planning around January of 2023. I may actually continue this one in 2.2, but it's likely this one will never see the light of day, just due to the massive scale of it. Now, this is a design I made based on the wallpaper I used on my computer for quite a few months. I wanted to get into art style, and to be honest, I still do. I think I did okay here, but I don't think I'm particularly good at art style, unfortunately. This is also solidly in 2023 now. I think a few of the previous levels were also 2023, but I can't confirm. I made this level after watching some of the Tried's building series, which really inspired me to just try to make a simple decoration style without having to worry too much about making it perfect, but I quit after like the first 3 seconds of the level. This is the final and most recent build swap I've done, this time with just Ninja Berry. This level is the one I started, and I think Berry really made this into something that looked pretty good for the time it was made in. This is the second half of the swap, this time more art themed since Berry started it, and I made the little vine things, which I think look kinda decent. It's a bit messy, but I think it's nice. This actually goes back to a level between Raikyon and Ninja Berry, where they were going to make a snow theme level and call it Iced Cave. I thought it would be cool to make this, which is obviously a bit inspired by Frozen Cave, and then show it to them once I was done to potentially revive the project, but I couldn't even finish the layout, sadly. This is just a random challenge I made, I think for Ninja Berry, and I actually hack verified it since I couldn't bother to play it. Berry completed it pretty quickly though. Now, the next 7 levels are from a 2.2 countdown series I started back in August, where my goal was to make a level every day until October 1st. I ended up quitting after literally a week, but looking back that was probably for the best, since October 1st was not even close to the release date. There were some pretty cool ideas in here, but it was just becoming too time consuming to create and verify. Anyway, I'm not going to give any commentary for these next two, you can kind of just see them for yourself. Now, there's just 3 levels left. These are the most recent levels I've made, and also some of the best, actually. I'd love to continue them, especially the last one, but it's extremely unlikely due to, 2.2. Pretty self-explanatory. This one uses the song Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. I thought it was a pretty cool idea, even though afterward, I found out a level with the same song had just recently been rated. I think I did a good job with matching the gameplay to the song, but it's still probably not that fun to play.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive, and the world, I'm turning inside out, yeah. I'm floating around in ecstasy, so don't stop me now. Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees, that's why they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you.
This ended up being more like a medium or hard demon, but my main inspiration was a really fun 8-star called Yemph, I think that's how it's pronounced, and the gameplay was by Split72. I tried creating a similar type of repetitive but satisfying gameplay. I don't really know whether it turned out well or not. I think it was pretty fun overall. finally, at the end, we have a level concept which I've really wanted to make for a while. I've always really wanted to make an Omori theme level, but after My Time came out, I didn't really see the need to. I thought I'd make this though, since I thought it would go well with that one part in Dreamfully, which is what this is heavily inspired by. And that's it. Now, this is probably just about half of the unreleased levels I have on my account. Some of them I thought were just too old or boring. There are a few that are actually some of the best levels I've ever made, and I want to keep them private in case I do actually continue them in 2.2. Sadly, it's unlikely since 2.1 levels will have no chance of getting noticed with the insane amount of new features coming in the update, but who knows. But that's it for now. I have one final video planned that will probably be out in a few days, which will be kind of like a retrospective on 2.1 and everything I've accomplished, as well as my final ever completion to 2.1. But until then, thanks for watching, I guess. I don't really know how to end a video. All I have to say is goodbye to an incredible update that's lasted 6+ years of this game's history, and on to a new one.